that we were going to pay for it, and then maybe we don't want to. Like you said, we start going down a slippery slope and there's too many. So I just don't want to give them the impression that they're going to be paid for.
Yeah. No, I want you to know that I've been really clear with Martin Herrera is the only individual I met with, and I said at this point, all I have are options that are outside the consortium, are other grants that I'd be willing to help him apply for and get. The condition is he'd have to open up his books to show financial need for that. In Oregon, I have not talked to any individuals outside of Aaron. And I caught Aaron, I don't think was at our last meeting, so I caught him kind of up to speed in the why we were just looking at that. We want to make sure we have information um, so we can make an informed decision one way or another.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
no, I've been very careful with that. So
Chair, if I might just add, and I think the discussion last month also was there was a general consensus among the CWC members that our intention is not to leave anyone behind, but our focus is on those folks who are outside the city limits, and that we didn't think we needed to change the mission statement to do just what Jared described.
Correct. And like I said, I'm not trying to, well, I'm just saying that if we're going to, then let's change our mission statement and allow it, rather than just kind of slide into it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we need to be explicit about it. I agree.
No,
And I appreciate that you asked the question because sometimes we have new listeners and it's good. It's all new to all of us, so it's good sometimes to repeat that.
okay.
I think we're all nodding and on the same page.
You have a couple of old lady widows that can't get any clean water any other way. Not, maybe we want to put ourselves in the position to help them, but I think we ought to go through, uh, not, not just start doing those things, but actually make it formal, I guess is what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and I would encourage or recommend the same once we have the information to make, because maybe we don't need to change it at all. Maybe we find out that it's too many or the circumstances don't really justify it. So in either way, I'll continue to look for that information and hopefully by next meeting we might have it. Either next meeting or maybe September at the very latest. So
Okay, thank you.
um other things, some of you have been in some of the other meetings I've been in too, so I've reported on these and I always forget like what I've done to who I've reported what to what. But continue to again secure capital funds or other funding in different ways. I will say that our next bullet item or our next agenda item is to finalize the transfer of the SEP funds. And I'll get to that in a minute, so that's good. Um, and progress on of course, the most important here, progress on the West Glen. It's really the greater West Glen area. I kind of would like to start thinking that more as Boardman Phase 1 because it definitely includes a larger area than just West Glen specifically. But we have posted the RFQ. It will close on the 22nd of July. We've had interest from several different firms. And I think we've at this point posted 3 different addendums to answer questions related to that. At our meeting in August, August 9th or 10th, or 11th, I think it's 11th. You guys will get to, look at those and decide who's our most qualified that you guys want to go with, and we can continue there. That again would be the biggest, I guess, more exciting thing. I have had additional conversations with the boardman, shared with you a document that I shared with them as well, just answering some of their questions. I worked closely with his name is Jason Green, not to be confused with Justin Green, no relation. But he is the president of the Oregon Association of Water Utilities, and Michael Martin, who is the water specialist for the League of Oregon Cities, and of course Ethan Brown for Willamette Partnership. Those 3 were kind of my source of information for some of the other municipal municipalities that sell water outside their district and what their circumstances were. um, in Martin's, or excuse me, in Jason's words, uh, the majority, or if not a significant number of municipalities do provide water outside their service areas and municipalities. So that's not a novel thing. However, every single district, there's no standard or consistent way in which municipalities do that and what their service agreements are, or their arrangements, or the why, or the pricing, or anything else. It's all very individualized per that city and their circumstances. Some cities have multiple agreements and none of them look the same. Sandy is a great example of that. That's a larger one, but even some of the smaller ones, there's several on the coast that actually provide water to more people outside their city or service area than within, interestingly enough. So, anyway, I provided that as well as some additional information for the city of Boardman. It sounds like, and just sticking with Boardman here for a minute, it sounds as if Boardman is committed to getting us water. That isn't the problem. And Brandon wanted me to assure you that, again, they still have to vote and decide, but at bare minimum, they will give us a pipe with enough pressure to provide the water to West Glen. Now, as I presented at the May 13th meeting, what that looks like after that is the other story: who owns the infrastructure, who's going to manage the system, etc. Boardman is kind of leaning towards two options, or two proposals, if you will. One is we will provide a spigot of wholesale water, and the county will then do everything else, own everything and provide everything else. If they contract that back with the city or whoever, wherever, so be it. But that's one option. The other option is an annexation option. And it is not necessarily an immediate annexation option. But anybody who if Boardman is going to own the pipes and own it in the larger sense, then they will insist on annexation at some point in time. And again, that's kind of where they've landed. That's newer information for me, though it's been floated in the past. It may muddy the waters a little bit because it's more than just clean water, and that's all we are worried about is getting people clean water. But that is what Boardman is likely going to propose. Again, they still have to decide. They're going to have some meetings here this month and discuss it further. But that's where Brandon believes that they are hanging. Of course, Matt's not here, but I know he's had the conversation with Matt as well, so he's aware from the county perspective around those options. So just to clarify too, the annexation doesn't necessarily happen immediately. I'll give you an example is the Umatilla model. They've just now are putting pipes in the ground in the Brownell and Power City neighborhoods. Those are two neighborhoods. It's about 70 or so households in those two areas that are completely surrounded by the city of Umatilla, who had failing water districts before. And for 7 years, the city of Umatilla provided them clean drinking water for free. While they were kind of negotiating and fostering the relationship to get to the point now where 100% of those people in those two neighborhood areas signed on to be annexed. But it's not an immediate annexation. Some of them it is. Some of them want as soon as they have the water hooked up, they're like, annex me. Others they have, I think they're 25-year agreements. It says within 25 years or when property ownership is transferred, then they will be annexed into the city. Brandon is kind of leaning towards that type of agreement. So, and then in the course of that 25 years, they do significant improvements to the area. Again, it's more complicated because we're talking about sewer and streets and, an annexation just is more complicated. But that is the update from Brandon and and Brandy, I think, is on here, right? Yeah, there's Brandon. Did I get all that right, Brandon?
Yeah, and again, those are just things that we floated, but that's not saying where the council will land. But Those are
Correct.
thoughts.
Those are our thoughts, and kind of it's kind of two ends of the spectrum, and it might be somewhere in the middle. We don't know, but I just want to be clear to everybody about where we're at in talking with boardmen. And many of you have also heard I've been meeting with anything else, Brandon? Sorry.
Nope, nothing.
Thank you, Brandon. And many of you heard I've met with 18 different homes now within the larger West Glen area. Again, when I say what larger West Glen area, it includes all of those properties kind of close together that are south of Coonsey, including a cluster of homes south of the canal, and many of the properties that are west of Paul Smith Road. So that's why it gets larger than Paul Smith, and how we arrive, or excuse me, larger than just West Glen, and how we arrive at a number that's about 130 possible homes. I've talked to 18 of them, and 17 of the 18 are they would be happy to take the water yesterday. So and they knowing that the water would cost them about $50 a month or so based on the adopted rates of boardmen. Again, just with what information we had, they, under the condition they could still keep their wells, they still want their wells for irrigation purposes, which also keeps their home usage lower, and therefore their costs lower. And the one person who said maybe was a strong, they were a yes, but they wanted to talk to their neighbors first before committing. So he was just a maybe. And so that is, again, it's a small sample size. It's about 14% of the 130 homes. But I will continue to do that, and particularly as we get more information or different information, then I will revisit those homes and talk to them, and as we work things out. But that, again, kind of that's two of the three prongs. One is boardman, one is the residents of West Glen, and then of course our third is funding, which I am continuing to work on. So really, that's my report for this month.
I have a comment, also, Jared. I think that we can look at both of those options as being non-exclusive. It would be great to get started with the freshwater while the city is still reviewing how an annexation might work in the future, and give people that live there the option by, vote for annexation or not. I have looked at those rules a little bit, but it's exciting that we would have the opportunity to get to work on freshwater sooner. And I really like the idea of starting to refer to it as the Boardman Phase 1, because it is not just the West Glen neighborhood. So I think that's a good thing also.
David, just protocol, I had my hand up, if that's okay. I have a question. Thank you for that. That I did read your report it's dated today, to the Boardman City Council follow-up, and thank you for the further explanation. How is the language barrier going, and have you had any language barriers? And I know you do speak some Spanish. Are you going on your outreach solo, or bringing a translator? How does that work?
For most of my visits, I've had Isabel with me, or I had Anne Maria. So language was not, we would chit chat in Spanish. And then when we got to the technical stuff, I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to pretend to do the technical stuff here. So, so they've been great and very helpful. And a few I've gone solo, but not to Spanish speakers. They were ones that I knew were English speakers. And or they've reached out to me, and so I went and I spoke with them. So
excellent. That gives me extra comfort, reassurance that people are understanding. So when you say 17 out of 18, that feels pretty solid to me, that they were fully understanding the discussion. So thank you for clarifying.
Yep.
I got a quick question. I mean, that's encouraging if they, I think if they contact you how did that come about? Did people starting to know you and how would somebody get in contact with you if more people wanted to talk to you?
Well, both of them, I think, are well-connected people in the community already, and they talked to somebody else, or they saw me in another meeting and said, "Hey, I understand you're talking to people in West Glen. Let's talk." So,
Because I think that'd be great if somebody else, was thinking, said, talking together and they go, boy, we'd like to find out more about this. And then, well, let's call this guy. So anyway, I was just curious how that came about.
well, every stop we give them my card, and I said, by all means, share these with your neighbors and let them know we're making my way. I'm making my way around it. It'll take a couple months. We got a lot of other things we gotta check off the list, but it's okay. It's we'll do all of them at the same time.
Okay, any other questions for Jared on his report? Okay. 4B is the SEP fund transfer authorization. That's you.
Yeah, I attached this. These are just the formal documents. They finally sent them to me this week or late last week, and I met with Kevin. I just need these are the documents that allows us to transfer the money from the state to the consortium. $581,640. And so again, this isn't new information. We knew this was coming, but this is the formal document. So what we need is just a motion authorizing me to sign and execute this agreement. And then the state will be happy. So,
Any
and
questions?
Kevin, for that matter.
Any questions about the agreement?
I have a question. Did you run this by, is it Elaine or Eileen as our legal counsel?
I did not, but this came from them. So I could, but this came from the state. Kevin did read through it in great detail. And it's funny because he's like, wait, and then he goes, oh, never mind, never mind. Oh, this is good. This is good. So Kevin was good with it. And I can run it by Eileen if you want me to. But we were comfortable with the wording and the language and everything. So.
And I also note that in the footer, it says it was reviewed by DOJ, so they're not gonna leave too many leaves unturned, if any, so I'm comfortable with it, and, just to make sure, put it in layperson, non-legal terms, so that the funding will then come directly to the Clean Water Consortium in the
Correct.
line items in the account Kevin has created. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, we've already budgeted for it. We've been expecting it. The hang up has actually been the Justice Department. It took them like 6 weeks to come up with this language. So
Okay. And remind me again the amount.
580, 1,000, 2,000. I just had it a second ago.
508. Yeah, I saw it earlier. It's good. It's a good chunk. So appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate your work on that.
581,640, Tamara.
Okay,
Oh, there we go.
thank you.
It's on page 14.
Got it. Thank you. So are you looking for a motion? Feel free to authorize you to sign that. Yeah, I'll make a motion authorizing Jared to sign the agreement.
Sign and execute the agreement.
Sign and execute, yes.
This is Lisa, I'll second.
Oh, Dave, we can't hear you.
Audio on.
Oh, there you go. You're
Oh,
back.
okay. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, that concludes our business. We'll move on, and this is time for public comment. If anyone has a public comment, now's the time to do it. This is a time to address the consortium board. It's not a time to have a big discussion. It's not gonna be back and forth. It's just a time to make a comment. If there is somebody, you get 3 minutes. I guess that pretty much covers the rules. Is there anybody, if you would like to make a comment, please raise your hand now.
I see Isabel has her hand up.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh.
I
Oh, yeah,
didn't
there
have
you
a
are.
comment. I just had a question. I know that the roadmap project meeting was supposed to be scheduled, sometime in early August. So I was thinking maybe we would have that date before, or that date would happen maybe before our next meeting. Do we have a date on that yet, or? No?
Do you want me to answer that? And we're not doing the back and forth, but those should be on the roadmap web page. The steering committee has a virtual meeting, and then the next public meeting for the roadmap project is 6 to 7:30 on August 5th at the Umatilla Business Center.
Okay, thank you.
I wanna, real quick, I wanna clarify something for some people, and I've done this at other meetings, is the reason about the not a back and forth is people on the boards like this one and other places, they want things, if it's not on the agenda, the public doesn't know we're gonna talk about it. So if it is on the agenda, then the public would say, hey, maybe I wanna hear that, or maybe I, wanna, so that's the reason, the main reason. Would you guys agree with that? I mean, it's just kind of transparency. You don't end up with a bunch of stuff on the agenda that isn't on the agenda, I guess. Okay, any other comment? Please raise your hand. Okay, no other comment, then any other business to come?
Tamara had her hand up.
Who?
She's muted though.
Who is?
Because I'm kind of noisy.
Oh, Tamara, okay.
Yes, thank you. I possibly could have shared this at the beginning of the agenda, but can we talk about the vacant position on the CWC that is new to me? So we have a vacancy, and I think the agreement, our organizational agreement between the county and the port is, I think that person then would be the vacant position that would take Kelly Doherty's spot, would be appointed by the Port Commission. Is that true? Maybe Lisa, you want to address that, and when would that happen?
Yes, that is true. And our next meeting is on August 3rd.
Okay, and you expect at that meeting, the Port Commission will appoint somebody?
I think it would be a good idea to appoint someone at that meeting and also make sure that we have an alternate, which might also be good for the county to do as well.
Do we contemplate alternates in our agreement? Yeah.
I don't recall, but obviously in a situation like this, it would have been nice to have an alternate.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I do have a quick question, clarification. So I know, Dave, you're in Hepner, but I believe you're going out of town for signing a couple of these things. Who should I go to Hepner? Should I go find Lisa, Tamara? Who should I have
Well,
sign these?
Just the way we do it here is I just send it to Valerie, and she uses DocuSign. She sends me an email.
Valerie, are you comfortable with that? Okay.
We do that quite a bit with board and CREZ. Most all the CREZ documents now are done that way.
Okay.
So I mean, that's okay with me. I guess ask the other board members. Is that good with you guys to do it that way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will, excuse me. Immediately following this meeting, I will send the invoice to Dave to sign.
Okay. Thank you. And the other document I've been approved now, so I will sign and take care of with Kevin. So.
Okay. Any other business? Okay, hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Have a great
care.
night.
You too. Bye.